So I have some, gonna be experimenting with this live stream in the sense that I'll be listening to music. I don't usually listen to music on my live streams, but I will this time. So let's see. What do we want to listen to? Oop, nope. I wonder if YouTube will pick up on that the moment it plays for the first 10 seconds of the stream. But here we go. Let's paint. Let's paint, people. Let's get into the swing of things. So here we go. This is a project I've been working on for only a few hours, probably like 4 or 5 hours so far. And basically it's just a bunch of pieces together. I haven't fully fleshed out the central figure yet. There's still some more I have to fill in this space with, but we will figure it out as we go. You know what our first move is gonna be? Our first move is gonna be that I'm gonna rotate this. Gonna do another rotation of this right here. I want this to be a nice disorienting painting. One that makes you go, what the heck is going on here? What is the craziness that I see in front of me? So popping open the supplies, I like to keep my supplies closed for the most part. Because using oil paints, when you use oil paints, things can really get messy, can have a very strong smell. You know what, I think it's almost time to empty this out, so I need to find a container to throw it out in. All right, excuse me as I was getting some materials ready. I think I need to toss out, get rid of some rags as well. But getting some supplies ready. I think I need a new rag to get my rag out. There's one rag that's definitely needs to be disposed of more than the other. All right, so got some fresh oil paint supplies and we're gonna get started back here. My goal right now is to basically go through these areas and fill the space. My other paintings have had a lot of negative space, which is all the space in between. For this piece, I want no negative space. And I want to make sure that there's no negative space. So that's the goal here. And we're going to keep experimenting with this. So actually, you know what? We can't paint if our paints aren't ready. Here's a funny thing. I've gotten so used to talking while I'm live streaming. I'm listening to music right now. I don't usually listen to music. I'm experimenting. But I spent so much time listening to music and live streaming or not listening to music, that it feels kind of weird trying to talk over this music right now. And I'm not sure I like it. I might actually not listen to music while I stream. But we'll see. We'll see how this conversation goes. So right now, my goal here, keep a loose bit of paint just so we can sketch out these final parts. So we're going to go right here. And let's see, we're going to go trying to think of how much space I actually need, like right here. Sketching it out. And the one way this specific painting is challenging me more than usual is this idea that, you know, on my previous paintings, what I do is I leave a lot of space. I leave a lot of like negative space because it gives me room to kind of make mistakes and kind of like fix mistakes and things like that. But with this one, I'm not really giving myself a lot of space to make mistakes. I really don't have that much space to play around with. And that's what makes this piece a little bit more challenging than my others. And then let's figure out some of the shadows in here. Go. Some of the shadows going to go around like so. And then let's see some of the forms and the structures here. And we're going to go around here. So this is a classical female form that we're working on right now. And there we have that. You know, we're going to do another butt on this side. So still building out some of the designs in here. This painting will take a very, very long time. And just stand this up so I can get our sketch correct. So let's see how we're going to do this. You know what? I want it to merge into here. Where do I want this body to pop out of? Let me see. Let's give it another twist here. Let's see where this goes. I want to do one full back into here. No, actually, that's a full back. How should we go? gonna make one butt here, and then the shoulder side on this side, or I want to do this. This is the planning phase, trying to talk myself through how I think this should look. Ideally, you want to have this planned out way ahead of time. And then, ideally, if you're live streaming and you're an artist, you want to have this entire thing planned out ahead of time, not trying to think about it while you're live streaming. But it's all part of my creative process, is live streaming the entire thought process here. So let's see. I'm gonna go up here. I'd love to be able to show the neck though. So actually, let's go like this. I don't think that's gonna work either. Let's go like this here. And go. I'm gonna get the neck right here. I want at least one neck to show. This around, and then we need some shadows right into these areas. And this will be the central neckline down here. There we go. So here we go, sketching out this part of the body. I'm gonna have, so this is gonna come right around here, probably come right around here. Okay. And then I want to create a duplicate. I want to create a duplicate of this piece, but a little bit further up. Maybe we'll go directly up right here. Go with the back. Actually, I would love to be able to see this piece right here. Or you know what, we're gonna go like this. Just gonna go into it. Planning. Alright, here we go. We're gonna go with the neck right here. And then we're going to come around. And let's see, getting through the sketch phase now. I'm gonna go get a nice pulling this out. This is the back coming down. Let's see, we're going to continue going on, building up these structures here in the back. Building up these structures, these shadows. Got some muscles here. And there we go. Got another male figure here, but of course you want to sketch out some more of what we're gonna see. So we're gonna go like this. And here we go. So what's going on right now is I'm defining a lot of the muscle groups because there's going to be a lot of shadows. The only thing that's really going to be defining the muscle groups is the shadow. So what I'm working on right now is to find just the right shadows to choose. But here we go. All right, so that's a body there. And it looks a little different than the rest because it's going to be a back as opposed to a head. Let's see what else needs to happen. And I feel like if there's any like small spaces that I actually just need to kind of, any small spaces that I need to fill, I could just throw an eye in there, or a leg, or a butt cheek. But for now, I want the major areas to be at least somewhat cohesive. We're going to do another version of this figure. That's going to come up like so. You know what, should be way easier than I'm really making it out to be. All I need to do is just copy whatever this shape is on the outside, just a little bit further up than the other. Nope, nope, this needs to be a little higher. Let's see, so let me see that this is kind of come down. Needs to be like it needs to be out here to look right. That All right, we'll have to make that work. And let's see what's next. Let's throw a random eye. Actually, you know what? We're not going to throw a random eye in there. Not yet. What else? Let's rotate this again. We're almost there, people. We are almost past our our drawing phase, which means we can finally play with our figure phase. So if I want and you know what? There's a chance that this turns out to be so wacky, there's too much going on that it's just like totally unattractive as the painting goes. But we'll see. I will see. I will do my best effort to see how we can make this incredibly great. But sometimes, you know, you put a lot of work into things and it just doesn't turn out the way you want it to be. So this I'm going to say is right here. And it's going to go up sharply and then back around. Let's see, go up sharply and then back around. Let's go. Let's just pretend like I'm sketching. And goes a little bit further in. And then gets a little sharp turn right here. Should be a little higher. And let's go. And here we go. All right, just a few more things to do. And let's go. I think that's the hardest part about the composition here is the fact that I decided that I wanted to make sure that every space was filled with some sort of character or design, some element of, these pieces. Because usually how I do my paintings, so this is my last one. As you can tell, I usually allow to have some space. I usually allow for space to be filled in, so you can see that there's a lot of space here, a lot of empty space. But I wanted to make it a goal to make this painting have no empty space. And that's where I'm coming across difficulties as far as planning goes. No, I can make one of these parts a mouse. I think I could make one a mouth. I think I could make one of these areas a mouth. Yeah, let's do that. I'm gonna paint a nose / mouth into this section. I think having all these body parts are just gonna make it a little too wacky. So I'm gonna try to bring it back a bit by painting these more recognizable features. Tone it down a little bit, you know? How are we gonna bring this down? We're gonna bring this down right here. Bring that down right there a little bit. Bring this right here. And then just marking stuff. These aren't full-on sketches. Honestly, if I was just drawing these, I'd probably finish like 5 an hour. 5 or 10, but I'm trying to plan for painting. So this makes it just a bit more difficult. Not too much, just a little bit, you know? I guess the corners should meet right around here. here we go. This came up here. I'm going to come down. Come down right here. A little for the chin right here. Nice, delicate angle. I'm going to have this part coming down to go down a little further. Whatever this length is. Come down for the neck. And then just a few more places and then we'll be done with the sketch. And then we get to do the painting. Who's excited? I'm excited. Because I gotta say, this sketch has been pretty exhausting. Because I'm not just like making things up and kind of piecing them together. I'm taking things that like a very specific thing that's already designed and piecing them together in a very complex design. And I just have a couple more spots left. I have these two sections right here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I need to fit an eye or a nose. I'm gonna fit this guy's eye into here. I'm gonna fit one eye. I have enough space for one eye here. So who knows how this is going to turn out when I'm actually painting, because this composition is, I mean, you can't even really call it a composition. It's just a bunch of pieces collaged together. Okay. So I get enough space for this one eye. Let's see, that's going to go like this. We're going to create this eyebrow here. No real space for a nose. And hopefully, the thing that I'm hoping for, and you shouldn't say that you hope for something when, this is totally everything you do on a art piece is pretty much under your control. So, you shouldn't be hoping for things. But there's always that that doubting voice in my head that's like, not always, once in a while, there's that doubting voice in my head that's like, how are you gonna make this? Because I haven't thought about the colors yet. I haven't really thought about how I'm gonna manage, because usually what people would do is they'll sketch it out with like pencil or graphite or whatever. So they're gonna have really thin lines that they can paint into up until that line as a guideline. But the problem with when you sketch with with paint is that you see these very thick lines. You don't know, unless like you're very specific the entire time, you don't really know where your line ends, right? Does the line end here or does it end over there? So, and that's something that could be tough to keep track with, especially if you're, doing a sketch multiple hours, and by the time you're done sketching all this, you're not remembering unless you have a very specific way of doing it. But Joshua Harvey, hey, just came across quite late. You're under the world, sending good vibes, positivity. Hey, thanks so much, Josh Harvey. Thanks for saying hello from your side of the world. And then let's do another rotation of this so that when you look at this, I've always wanted to do a painting, or I often want to do paintings where it's like, you don't know which way is up. And I can only hope that one day the person who buys this, they'll be like, hey, I don't know which way to hang it. I'm just going to do whatever feels right. And then they'll hang it that way. And it might not be the way I anticipated. But my goodness, I'm looking at this section right here. I'm like, what the heck is going on? What the heck did I draw in this section? Can't even figure this out. What? I just remember that I drew it like this. Oh, I see. Okay. I see what I did. This part is gonna totally throw me off. Okay, I see what's happening here. Can't see what's happening here, but I can see what's happening here. What the heck is this? Oh, okay. I see. Good. All right. I can as long as you can read your own visual language, that's okay. I consider so this is kind of like my like sloppy handwriting, you know? Like you can read your own handwriting, but sometimes you can't. That's when you get in trouble. But as long as you can like if you spend enough time on that area and try to look at it and figure it out, as long as you can figure that out, I think you're probably safe. So what I would really like to do is have one more head in here, but I gotta find just the right head. Otherwise, it's not gonna fill the space the same way that I want to. And I will feel like this whole I will feel like it's gotten messed up somehow. What's one more thing I could stick right here? I think I fit a set of eyes here. Gonna fit a mouth right here. Nose and a mouth. That's what we're gonna do. Same thing right there. Just the nose and a mouth that gets hidden away. And let's see, so there we go. Sketching in some shadows, just a little bit here. We're gonna come down with this nose. There we go. This is gonna come down. Have the lips right here, another mouth. This mouth is gonna go to the end of the nostril right there, like so. And we're gonna have another mouth that comes down all the way there to the end. There we go. So we're gonna bring So if this ends here, it's going to go like this. All right. We're almost there, people. I don't know what this is. That is... I know that's a face. Oh, that's an eye. Okay. And this is a mouth with a leg. We need one more piece to fit right into here. And what are we gonna do? Let's see. How are we gonna do this? What are we gonna do? You know what I should just do is I'm just going to enlarge this. Okay, and then with this, and what I'm hoping is I'll be able to read my own language when I'm ready, my own shape language. So if this goes like this, then this is going to come up like that, then maybe come up down a little bit. And you know what? Maybe it just ends up looking like shapes that are kind of confusing and nobody really gets it, but that's cool too. But overall, this is what we got. So let's start the actual painting process. To be honest, I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to tackle this painting process. Obviously, you know, one section at a time, right? But I'm going to put this brush away. And let me find a good brush for this. So I got a nice flat brush. I'll be using. This might be too big for some of the details. Might need a. Here we go. Picking the brush. So I got my little brush set right here. Trying to pick which one would be the most optimal choice. All right. I'll admit I feel a little intimidated by my own drawing because I don't know exactly how I'm going to to complete it. But you know what? I think I'll start with the inside out. So let's do it that way. This will probably be the easiest piece to tackle. So we're gonna start with that. But again, I still haven't decided on the brush. Let's see. Actually, you know what? Before I do start, I do want to take a quick photo for my own recording purposes. Okay. All right, let's lay down some colors. I'm gonna go with choices. All right, we're gonna go with a Viridian for our initial piece here. So Viridian's like a dark green. I'm using Daler Rowney. This is Georgian. The reason why I like Georgian is that it has a very nice texture. It's a very creamy texture, like just like a it's like a butter. It feels just like a butter that's just hit a warm piece of toast. It's just got that texture of, you know, just enough softness and creaminess to feel nice, but it's not like overly melty, which is also nice. And we're going to use this just by itself. We're going to use this for to create the foundation of our painting for a lot of the dark spaces. So the biggest challenge here is not making sure that pieces don't get lost. That's one thing I didn't really plan out, is like if this part's in shadow and this part's in shadow, then it's kind of going to disappear, but I'm just going to have to try to make it not so. So that's the challenge of this painting here. So we're just going to go straight. You know what? I want to lighten it up a little bit. I'm going to use I'll lighten this up. It's a little too dark. And I guess really efficient artists, they might paint the entire thing with just a flat color, like a wash and underpainting. But I'm laying down the underpainting. I'm doing the underpainting directly. I mean, this might even be the final touch. I don't know, but. We'll see how I feel. There we go. The first layers, and I actually do like this this green that we've got. This Viridian. It's basically like a very lightened Viridian. Put a lot of white in it, and I'm just using it just for our shadow. I think over time I will I'll continue to paint it a bit more, but for now so here we go, just piece by piece. You know what the scariest part about being an artist, or just spending a lot of time doing painting in general? Obviously, if you're a professional artist or versus a hobbyist or whatever, this opinion might change. But I think the scariest part is this question of, will my painting sell? And I think you could totally get lost in that question, wondering whether this is a sellable painting or not. Like, what if this painting just ends up being a total waste of time? I don't know. I mean, personally, it's not a waste of time to me, but it's when I paint that I get into a state of flow. But you definitely wonder, like, you know, what if nothing comes of this, right? So there's always that question, but I think if you can overcome the question to that answer, or the answer to that question, sometimes it might be nothing. You become less worried, and I guess you kind of just create some cool stuff that interests you. So basically, anywhere that's like not totally white, I'm going to be painting over with this. And this isn't the most efficient process. There's definitely way more efficient ways. Like if you're a commercial artist, if you're like a commercial artist, you would never do this type of sketch, right? If you're like a commercial artist that's an illustrator, you're probably going to use Paint, Photoshop, and you're probably going to like basically just take all these figures and just paste them onto a design and then print it out and then basically just lay it out. Once it's laid out, you're going to start painting on top of it. That's like, you know, the super efficient way of doing things. That's how a professional commercial artist would probably work. But I am not a commercial marketing artist. Therefore, I like to have my designs have that feeling of have a feeling of quality of spontaneity, less technology focused. Less technology driven. So here we go. What I find super rewarding about painting is when you start to get into like this part of the detail, you can kind of like start to see a lot of the forms start to come together. And here we go. So you kind of just start to see a lot of this come together pretty quickly. And here we go. So let's go around and we're going to keep building. Sketching some basic shadows, and then now let's go let's see what our next part is going to be. Let's knock out this face here. And rather than super dark shadows, so I've been playing, like my previous paintings, I focused on doing like really dark shadows, like black, literally just black directly on the canvas. But I think I'm going to go for just slightly darker colors for shadows on this one. And, or just different value, like a darker value. If you don't know what a value is like, you know, the range of like brightness or darkness of a color between black and white. So obviously, you know, if you have all the colors versus none of the colors, if you have total black, then you wouldn't be able to see this color. And if you had total white, you would just see white. And then, you know, everything in between would have these ranges. So I would say this is more of like a neutral, mid-neutral green. Well, let's see, where was I? Oh yeah, I was gonna work on this eye, this face right here. So let's do this. All right. Exciting. We're getting into the faces. And here we go. So going around the sides here. And really just little by little, I'm going to just build this up. And eventually we should have something interesting, to say the least. Something interesting enough. All right, not going to build into there. There's a little bit of a light over here, so I'm just going to create the idea of it. Just going to create the idea of it right there. So this just helps us to build up the shadows. Super basic stuff. Super basic stuff. And it's really interesting because it's super basic. You can just literally just take, like you can already see how like some of this is going to come together with the white. That's the absolutely amazing thing about painting. Is unlike drawing, you know, like, and by the way, I'm not like saying painting versus drawing is better or worse, but with drawing, you know, you really have to spend a lot of time to get, you know, you got a really thin pencil and you got to like sketch the dark areas really dark, and you kind of got to like hash the lighter areas, and then the lighter areas even lighter, if you're following what I'm saying. But with painting, you could literally just have two colors, the white canvas plus a almost any darker color than white, and just start painting in shadows, and you could kind of start to get something that makes sense, which is kind of cool. You don't always get that with drawing. Drawing takes a lot of time. It can be quite challenging to get like a really nice rendered out drawing. And that's all I'm going to do here is I'm just going to keep building up this painting with this green for starters. And then eventually and I may or may not I think I said I may or may not, and I didn't finish my sentence. I tend to do that when I get lost in the painting phase. Here we go. Okay, so this is... I was trying to see what this line was doing here, but it's not doing anything. I basically just accidentally had it there. So one of the challenges that I will be facing is what's going to happen when some of these darker spaces merges into another dark space. And that can be kind of hard to manage, especially if they're the same color, because then it's it's going to merge into each other, right? And it's going to be confusing to the viewer where exactly the separation comes. So that's something I'll have to navigate. But you know what? The great thing about oil painting is that, you know, if I decide to fix it right now, the paint's still wet and it's easy to fix. If I decide to fix it later, I can paint over the areas and oil paint. The only problem with that is oil paint can take a long time to dry, and that's really the only caveat. Oil paint can take a long time to dry. So, like, you know, if I want to work on this tomorrow, the paint's still going to be wet for the most part. And I can't really work in this area with, say, a red without it turning gray in the center. I can't work with, like, you know, a pink without this kind of invading into the space. So that's one of the challenges, but it's not like, you know, it doesn't make it hard, or just like, you just got to be more careful. I'm pretty sure acrylic's the same thing, except the only catch with acrylic is it dries really fast. So, like, by the time that, you know, I think it dries within like a day of an oil painting. So much faster. So I see some shadow right here. So this shadow right here is going to come out. And that's that guy's head, so we're not going to go too far into that guy's head anymore. Just going to drop the shadow right here. Paint it right there. So basically, I'll just continue working this over and over for however long. And just a reminder, this painting style is, this isn't really like a follow along type of painting style because because a lot of things I will improvise. Whereas if you're trying to like study art, I think a great way to study is to, go. Obviously, the best way is to find an artist you really like and just like watch them paint, right? In a live studio. That's how people have learned to paint for hundreds of years. But I mean, the second best is find an artist you like in real life or a teacher, a good mentor, and to watch them paint. And then the next step is finding somebody online whose style you want to match, but also somebody who has like a consistent way of doing things. Which I have a consistent way of doing things, but like sometimes I'll like change it up. Like Bob Ross could be like, "Hey, put this right here, make these little marks like this, and now you got a tree." Whereas, I kind of improvise a lot of times. So if you're trying to follow along, all I can say is what I'm doing now, not exactly, every single detail and step. So right here, I have like a shadow detail that eventually I'm going to basically paint over this entire thing at some point probably. Just so I could get the details nice and tight. At some point, I'm going to paint over this entire thing. But right now, I'm just helping myself to separate some of the light areas from the dark areas, the shadows and everything. And this way of painting might take a little longer. But that's okay. And here we go. Okay. Huh. All right, let's see. Got this eye down here. You know what? I'm constantly checking my reference. I have this reference and I'm constantly looking at it. Just going back and forth between my reference. If we're going to work around in the circle. I'm going to try to work on things as I see them straight up and down. Normally what I'll do is, if it's like, usually I have like a photo, and if it's like a sideways photo, I'll paint it sideways. But with this, because I don't know how many times I rotated it, I'm gonna try to keep it consistent with the same photo at the same angle. But that could be a challenge. So with enough to think about, I'm gonna focus on other details. So let's see, I don't really get what happened here. Okay. So get these shadows. You know, it's funny, this doubt just popped in my mind. That's one thing about my live streams, by the way. I share a lot of my random doubts and things. And I thought to myself, can I imagine, I can only imagine, if I spend all this time on this painting and spend all this time on this painting and at the end of it, it's just like, what if it sucks? Like, what if it's just an absolute piece of crap? So that is a thought that popped into my head. Alright, so this needs to come down. I think what is going to happen though is that I'm probably going to loosen up with this as we go. So that things move along. Because this part shouldn't really take too long. Spending too much time on this part is like, I'm trying to think of a good analogy. Spending too much time on this part is like, I guess it's important to spend as much time as you can on any part of the painting, but as far as this piece goes, let's see, where did this... I can already see this section's going to kind of get lost in here. But that's okay, we'll figure it out. Okay, the only thing we could do is just to keep going. And hopefully we get through this ugly phase in one piece. We will survive our ugly phase. I have no clue what this is. I know I did a mouth over here, but I can't quite figure out what this thing is. Oh, it's supposed to be another butt. I see now. All right, so let's go like this. We're gonna bring this down. I think what's gonna happen is these are just gonna symbolize butts. They're not actually gonna look like the butts I expected. Like here. I guess that what I should have done is I should have done the close-up test. I should have like covered everything and tried to see if like it would look like a butt. Like you guys tell me, I guess you can't really see it. Like that doesn't really look, you can't really tell that that's a butt, right? It's just kind of like a shadow. Just a shadow. So this is a fine art nude. So this is allowed on YouTube because it's just a bust. It's just a sculpture, but and you can't really see that it's a butt. Just if you separate it. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I'm gonna. We shall see how it goes. All right. Let's see. We're starting from the inside out. I got the back over here. So here we go. This is great. I'm going to go with the nice shadow right here. I'm just going to keep using this color to build out the structures. And then here we go. So I'm going to pop this down. And then just going to use this. Just want to create some dimension. And then we're going to go like so. And here we go. What am I painting? Marianne Sorensen, welcome. So this is a recently finished, so I drew out all these pieces. It's just a huge, huge collage, crazy, wild, buck wild collage of heads. Heads and bodies, but like sculpted heads and bodies. And that's the only way I can explain it. That's all it is. Obviously, if you needed me to go into detail, I could, but upon the first glance, this is all it is. But you know, to share a little bit about why I did this, it's as much a personal challenge as well as a personal challenge of being able to put as much as possible onto a single canvas and painting all these details. Personal challenge as well as, you know, just wanted to come up with something interesting to look at. So that is the goal. To come up with a nice and interesting painting that's nice to look at. And let's go like, got this piece right here. Here we go. And what we're going to do is we're going to go into this part too now. This is the part. But also, you know, a lot of things. An appreciation of the human body. So what's going on, Marianne? How have you been? What's going on in the world of Marianne? How is it Norway? How is Norway? How's the weather? It's summertime over there, right? That needs work right there. That's gonna need some work in the future, but for now we're just gonna keep it like that. And let's see, this is right here. This is the arm. All right, let's go into. I'm gonna try to focus on the smaller pieces in the center first before I go into the big pieces of the heads. So, what have we got? Got this. Let's do this. You're freezing, it's raining, and you painting. Good. You're painting. All right, fantastic. What kind of painting are you working on? What's your latest project about? Okay. Cool. So when you paint nature, do you go out to paint? There's a great painting. Are you part of like a painting club? The one great thing about Los Angeles is there's like a lot of painting groups. You never have to be a lone painter, which is kind of cool. Like there's always some group around that will there's always some group that's like ready to paint if you need a painting buddy. whatever this is, it's coming around. It needs to start a little higher. We can adjust that as we go. You learn from YouTube. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Is this, have you always been painting? I don't remember you talking much about painting before. And while we were at this, we're going to paint in this body here. And here we go. So continuing to get in some of the shadows here. Oh, good. You started 6 months ago? I didn't realize that. Well, definitely feel free to share some of your work here. Are you sharing it on like Instagram, or is it not for the public viewing? Do you share your work? Or have you not quite built up to sharing yet? Because I get it, sometimes sharing our work can be incredibly can feel intimidating for some people. Not everybody, but some people. When I did my art show recently, it was an art show for newer artists, and there was a lot of new artists that were there, just like people that are artists, and they were saying how they were asking me the question, did I feel nervous? Was I nervous to do the show? And I was like, no, not at all. Like, I was not nervous at all to do this show. But I can understand how some people would be nervous. Well, definitely feel free to add me on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, and I'll be happy to give you some engagement on there, to engage with your posts, to help out your social media. Just let me know where. I don't know what this is. Oh, that's the leg. Okay. That is a leg. Just remember that that is a leg. What's my name on Facebook? Emmett Ferguson. So that's EMMETTFERGUSON. You should also be able to find me on Huzzah Creative. That's HUZZA Creative. CREATIVE. That's my art one. So should be able to find me there. That'd probably be the better one to connect on. But you know, whatever your preference. So EMMETTFERGUSON. Or you find me on my main art page. That's HUZZA Creative, CREATIVE. Huzzah Creative. Oh. I'm going to take a break here soon. I want to get in some more of the shadows. All right, and yes, okay, cool, yeah. Can't imagine it being difficult to find me. Ah, okay, this part right here. So here we go. I love these long paint sessions. I feel like more and more, the more I do them, I feel like the more my painting endurance goes up. As cheesy as that sounds, I don't even know if it's a real thing, but I'm just gonna call it a real thing. And if I want this, And here we go. So, whew. All right, we are slowly building, and all I'm doing is I'm just working my way around. Now, mm, 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 mm. Now, basically, this is me just reestablishing some of the things that are already done. So, like, obviously, this entire sketch has already been created. There's not much I can do at this point to, like, change the overall sketch. But what I can do is set out the initial, like, shadows, the areas that I'm going to actually keep in shadow. This way I could separate some of the painting, some of the work. And after this, I can go in with a lighter color. All right. Something I'm trying to figure out is what the heck this thing is. Some of this all is just kind of mushing together. And something tells me it's this. Oh, here we go. I see what it is. Okay. It's this body part, the head and the neck here. What's up, Mark Dietz? So Marie Ann, you can try to look up. So Huzzah Creative, HUZZACREATIVE. That's probably the easiest way to find me. HUZZACREATIVE. That's where I post all my art and stuff. So. Mr. Mark Dietz. So yeah, I've been sketching this for about 3 days, or say it letter by letter. Yeah, so H, U, Z, Z, A, C, R, E, A, T, I, V, E. Yeah, I'm glad to say, Mark, that I consider this pretty much the sketch is done. Now it's a matter of building this whole thing up. And I'm taking it piece by piece fairly slowly, just bit by bit. Just focusing on some of the darker spaces, the shadows. And eventually we will have something fun and interesting. This is an eye. That's an eye if I ever saw one. And here we go. So and once more into the breach, dear friends. And here we go. We're starting to have this feel more cohesive by just adding all these colors. Actually, I feel like with all these colors, it kind of feels even messier. But at least we're getting somewhere. We're getting places. We are going places. We are creating an experience. We are creating a design. We're creating, making. Like a magician. I'm going to spend some time focusing on these faces because I've already got a bit of a handle on them. All right, so we're gonna go into here. And here we go. So building this up. Mark, what do you think the biggest challenge that the world faces in the next 25 years? I know that's a broad question, kind of sprung up on you out of nowhere, but for the sake of conversation, you don't have to get, too controversial. You could be silly with it if you want. you know, you don't need to get people riled up, but for the sake of a random conversation on this live stream, all right, and then we got this side, so we're gonna go definitely across here. AI. So you think AI? Do you think it's gonna? What do you think it is that AI is going to cause problems? Do you think it's gonna make it difficult, or do you think it's just like what do you mean when you say AI? What is it about AI do you feel will make life more challenging? Loss of freedom to live without every move being monitored. Okay. Yeah, I could totally see that. Yeah, I guess the loss of freedoms is a big thing when AI if AI starts to as AI starts to pick up, it's going to be analyzing everything, thoughts, etc., etc. Surveillance state. Thought police are here now. Yeah, they kind of are. I was talking to this guy from China, and he was saying how like you literally can't get away with anything, particularly in Beijing. Like the stuff we hear about that we're kind of like scared of in America, it's like it's already happened in places like China, in the major police, the major capital. I mean, Beijing's the capital of China, so, say what you will, but yeah, they're already in that state. All right. Not sure how I feel about this section right here, but we'll figure it out. We'll either allow it or we won't. And we're gonna do her head again. You know what I should have done instead of creating these random. One thing I got to get used to is instead of creating like random lines to try to make my lines flow in the direction that I want them to. So do you think the thought police though, do you think that's an AI thing or do you think that's just a social thing? Because honestly, I don't feel, obviously everybody feels different. You'll probably feel different than I do, but I don't feel like AI is monitoring. I mean, they are monitoring our thoughts in the sense that I could say something and, Facebook is going to send me ads about it. So I think there's that. And then, there's stuff that we haven't even imagined yet that's already happening right beneath our faces. But, thought police wise, do you feel like that's an actual AI thing that's going to happen, that's happening right now? Or do you think that's more of a social thing that's happening to everybody? These shadows have gotten so dark. Now I give up. Well, if you type in how to find you, Marie Ann Sorensen, I can look for you later. But if you don't feel comfortable with that, I get it. No pressure there. It's okay, Marianne. No worries. I was just trying to see if I could help support some of the work that you do, but you know, if we can't figure it out, it's just can't figure it out. Okay, so let's go with this head now. Yeah, I mean, do you, again, you don't have to share it. I wasn't sure if you were saying you're not gonna share your social profile, but you know, I can try to look you up under Marie Ann Sorensen. I just don't know if that's if you're not listed under, because I can't really check until I'm finally at a computer. Oh wait, we want to do this guy. All right, so yeah, okay. Actually, you know what? What am I saying? I have my phone right here. Oh no. Let me just grab my phone real quick. Let me see what I can pull up. Hmm. So these are all the Marie Ann Sorensens. I don't know, are you the one with two dogs? Or this one? Or the one with the sunset? Or the one with the trees? Like, all the Marie Ann Sorensens happen to... All the Marie Ann Sorensens happen to be... let's go down here. I think I found you. Alright, let's see. Alright, we're gonna go like this. Okay. So here we go. Oh yeah, I guess this part kind of disappears. Okay, we're gonna go. You know, it's funny. I often look at my paintings through the camera and in person. I'm like, yo, why does this? It actually looks pretty good on camera, but like when I look at it like in person, it kind of looks funky. There's like certain things that are missing. I guess those are things that like take more time to build up. All right. I'm gonna keep going with this. Let's go. Let's use up all this paint. We got this thick layer of paint right here. It's not doing a job. It's just sitting here as a thick layer of paint, which means we got to make it do a job. We got to give it a job. Paint won't work unless you give it a job. All right, so this is okay. I'm gonna leave this for now, and then we're gonna build up the next head. And I don't know what this is right here. Well, I can kind of figure out what this is. But I think what happens is I got to do this head right here. Got to do this head before we continue on to the next one. And here we go. So this portion of the hair in here. Okay, and we're gonna go. And here we go, getting some eyelashes here. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's one of my favorite things is just catching how things start to change once the shadows get in. And then it just becomes such a fun experience from there. I mean, the whole experience is fun. I say that a lot, you know. Uh, but once you reach a certain point, it just kind of becomes magical, and it all just kind of comes together. It just comes together like magic. That's a good way of putting it. Like magic. And here we go. So one thing is some of these faces are a little bit more spit it out, Emmett. What are you trying to say? Some of these faces are a little bit more round than others. And we're going to leave that for now. And we're going to go into this next piece. Not next piece, but this next part of the painting here. Where's this lower back here? I see a lower back. I don't know exactly what part. I just see a triangle. I don't get what this triangle is was trying to make something, but I don't really know what. Why is there a triangle there? Someone please explain to me what I was trying to paint in that section right there. I think it has to do with one of the butts, but... Oh, right. What is it? Oh, you know what's funny? So I had a, I think this is a nose? I don't think so. You know what's funny is I've been painting for so long that I outpainted my Spotify playlist. I have outpainted my Spotify playlist. Hurrah. So let's find something else here. We're going to listen to some epic opera. Who likes opera? Anybody like opera? So this section right here, I don't think it's a nose. It's definitely a body part, but I can't quite figure out which body part. Because all I painted was this triangle. That none of this is just a triangle. What the heck, Emmett? What was I doing? Ah, okay, so this is probably rotated this way. It's still not making sense to me, this piece right here. Oh, I see. Okay. I get it. I get it now. I get what I was trying to do, finally. Yeah, there's not really much detail here. This was a, not the best place to place something. I'm listening to this opera music, but it's not even opera. It's just like ancient Celtic music, which nothing wrong with ancient Celtic music, but it's not opera. Opera, excuse my burps. All right, well that's that. Since we're already facing this way, let's paint this head right here. So many shapes here. I'm so confused, but hopefully this confusion doesn't last forever. Yes, you almost got it that this, this specific section, it's hard to see on camera, but this specific section, I mean, just by seeing it, it could have been anything. This could have been a nose, this could have been a horse, could have been anything. But hopefully more of it starts to make sense once it all just kind of, once we figure it all out. So here we go. Here we go, people. Any opera lovers? So this is the eye. This guy has such a small mouth. So let's go like this. These eyebrows are already pretty thick. This is definitely not opera music. Gotta run. Hey, take care, Mark. I might still be here. I might be working on this for a bit. Just because I'm in the zone, like at this point, I kind of just chill and just chill and paint. Whereas previously, sketching itself can take a lot of energy, but this way, uh, once you get to this phase, things get a little bit easier. Depending on how complex the subject matter is. And here we go. So this is a huge glob of paint. I'm gonna have to work over that. Since we already got this face, let's do this version here. We'll do this head right here. All right, and then here we go. We're gonna go down into this shadow. You have to go to bed, 2:30. All right, Marianne, take care. Get some sleep. Sleep well, my friend. Sleep well. And yeah, wish you the best. So we can go up and around. Okay, and here. That's a leg, which means this is facial hair. And let's see. I don't really want to go too much into detail with the facial hair just yet. Okay. So this one, I think. All right. And then we got these heads, and that's it. And then we're done. But these are actually some, oh wait, I still gotta do this piece. Do this head right here. You know, I'm gonna do this head right here. And I'm gonna take a break. This head right here that we're gonna work on. This head is definitely easier than some of the others to navigate. Ah, Jablonski, Stephen Jablonski. That's why this song sounds so familiar. One of the greatest composers of our time, right? Steve Jablonski. So here we go. We're gonna go like this. You know what I just found out recently? It just blows my mind. Is the fact that a lot of Star Wars, the original Star Wars, was basically a paint job. So some of the backgrounds for Star Wars are basically just painted in. That pretty much blew my mind. I don't know if you knew that. But I guess there was painters back then who did who their job was basically to paint the scenes for Star Wars, which is pretty crazy. And that was what they did. They painted scenes that, you know, you couldn't make 100,000. It wasn't easy to have like, you know, 1,000 stormship troopers standing as you bring in, you know, some sort of starship. So they actually had painters who would do the background scenes, which is absolutely fascinating to me. And they don't have that anymore because everything would be digital. But just to think that that actually existed, to think that that job was a thing, is kind of fascinating. So we got this eye right here. It's kind of a scary eye. And let me see what's something I can do that's pretty easy. Um, hmm. That wouldn't require too much troubles. At least on this head. I'm not going to paint the details of the crown, but you know what I will do? Is I will do some of this section here. And here we go. So I'm going to keep this going straight into the nose here. Okay, the battery's low, I get it. Alright. All right, let's see. All right. Now's a good time for a break. Let's just drop in this shadow, drop in some of these colors real quick. And clean off our brush. All right. So we're gonna put our stuff, close up some of our stuff, take a little break here. Those of you just tuning in, this is definitely gonna be a piece, multiple days, maybe even weeks in the works. But so far, just to talk about the process, basically, it took about, I'm going to estimate almost like 4, 5, maybe 6 hours to do the overall, just drawing it out, sketching it out. And I think the reason why it took so long is because, I think the most efficient way, if you wanted to make this faster, like if you, were trying to focus on efficiency or whatever, what I guess you would probably do is go in Photoshop, lay out all the pieces exactly as you saw them and you wanted them to appear, and then you would kind of do like some sort of tracing, and then the trace, and then you would put the trace directly on here, and then you would get directly into doing what I'm doing, painting up into the edges. But right now, I have started the process of basically painting in some of the shadows loosely. Some of these are being done more effectively than others, but you know what? It's a lot going on, and you know what? There's still so much that is going to change. That's one great thing about oil painting, is even if in the early phases something doesn't look right, you just got to trust the process, as someone had mentioned to me earlier today. Just got to trust the process, and you'll figure it out. So with that, we are going to take a little break right now. And are those of you that tuned in or will tune in or whatever, whether you're going to tune in now or in the future, or you were already here and you see this later, thanks for jumping in. And great to make art for you.